So with this one, no gimmicks. All I'm after doing is seeing how clear this stuff is, and luckily I need to make some cabochons, so that's what we're going to be doing. I don't have a debubble machine, I don't have a heat mat, I don't have all the latest gadgets and everything else, as I'm just starting off with resin, but I want to see how good this Let's Resin epoxy is on its own. So I'm going to get some mixed up, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to try and get it as clear as possible. So it states it's high gloss, crystal clear and self-leveling. I've got no doubt that it is self-leveling because I've never used a resin that isn't. I've also got my leveling board out, which I did a review on. I'll put that link at the top so you can have a look at it. Now it's extremely warm in the UK today. Normally I would have warmed these up, but nature seems to have done that job for me. So it's in the evening, so it's still quite warm, but it's not hot. Right, let's get these poured. So I'm going to be starting off with, let's go for 70. That's dead on 70. So we need this on 140. And we'll put this on the mixing machine. I have reviewed this machine and I will put a link for that at the top if you're interested in viewing that. Again, another product from Temu, but to be honest, the only issue I generally do have is that it does turn these cups on the base. So using a silicone cup would be a better idea. I'll show you what I mean. It spins. It has its own little fairground going on. So I do have to babysit it, but I'd rather that than walk away and end up tipping over. So that's completely finished mixing, and all I'm going to do now is go around the sides and the bottom and make sure we've got it all scraped in. And as soon as I've done that, I will be back with you. So I'm just going to separate some of this. That'll do. So like I said, I need to make some cabochons. Although I want to test this and see how clear it is, I also want to do half of it with a glitter inside it. And this is the glitter that I'm using. I buy this from Temu. I absolutely love it, and it's a really good shimmer and sparkle. So I'm going to add that to this one so you can see how it actually works and how it looks. Now this stuff does go everywhere. So you really do, you can't just sort of tip it in. Even now, I've just literally just took off the lid and it's flying around. But that's one reason why I love this stuff. It's really, really light. And I thought, just in case this resin isn't that clear, at least one of them could have some glitter in it so that it doesn't show the bubbles too much. Because I do want to use this for a project. I don't want to just make a bunch of... So I'm just going to slowly start stirring that in. And I'll keep stirring, and the other one is releasing any bubbles as we go. I'm just going to give this a good stir, and then I'll be back with you when I've stirred it all in. Now, I may have mixed too much of this glitter powder in, because it has sort of given me a bit of a cloudy look, which is not what I was going for, but I'm still going to pour some of the cabochons with it just to see how it turns out. But I'm going to bring in another mould as well, just to have to hand if I feel like it's getting too cloudy. Well, these have been sat here for a few minutes now. Well, probably about 4 minutes have been sat here for, and I would just want to start filling some of these up. So I'm going to get some of these filled in, and I'll be back with you for pouring the shimmer ones in as well. So I'm going to slowly pour this shimmer one into the jug just so that it helps to tip it out. And I'm going to pour a couple of these the same shape and size just so we can compare them. And the rest, I'm going to do something I've not done before. I'm going to tip it into this flower mould that I've got. And I want to make sure I'm getting into every area that I can. And as I'm going through, I'm going to add some colours from the alcohol ink set by Resin. I'm going to make the colours quite simple. So I've gone in there with the lemon yellow. But I want to pour a little bit more of this in. Like I said, I've never tried this before and never even seen anybody else try it, where you actually pour the alcohol inks into the mould. I definitely want to make sure it's gone all the way around, and I think we may need a bit more of this yellow. Then I'm going to go in with the orange. When it wants to come out, there we go. And then we'll pour a bit more on. Give that another squeeze, because I have poured this one once and I ended up with an air pocket in one of the petals, and even though I did squidge it and make sure it's all in the right area, it still managed to do an air pocket. So I'm going to try my absolute best to make sure that doesn't happen with this one. And then on top of that, I'm going to go in with the peach red, which is actually quite pink. And I want quite a decent layer on that one. And then we're going to fill it to the tippy top. And we'll leave that one to cure. And just with this one that I've poured in, I'm going to attempt, I've never done this before either, a Petri style . I think I've filled it up a bit too much, I have. I need to take some out. Making a pig's ear of this one. Whether it works, my friends, we will find out tomorrow. Now, I've still got quite a bit of this one left, and I don't know if it's going to be enough for this, but I have never done a bloom. So this may fail, it may be a beautiful work of art, we don't know, because I've never done it before. But I'm going to get 3 other colours and my white out. And just hope this is enough to fill the coaster at least halfway, so I can at least get a decent bloom out of it. And I want to go in with some blues. Blues and purples I think will do. Dark magenta. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this in a square mould. So obviously organically the flowers look better in a rounded kind of shape, but we'll see how this works out. Okay, so from what I've seen other people do, they pull in, and this is going off memory because I haven't got time to sort of stop and go and look. It's in the middle and then they wipe off, and I think I've done this wrong already because I don't remember theirs looking like this. I've done something wrong, Anna. Who knows? May learn something completely new. Yeah, I don't remember theirs looking like the petals separated. Oh my god, what do I do? Why is it doing this? Why is it separating? Have I gone too far down or something? Oh, who knows, it might turn out nice. I don't think so though. I love the colours as well, I thought it was going to work out really pretty. But it's pushing away for some reason, I can't even remember which direction I went. I wonder if... No, because I don't use this for oil. Because that looks like it's pushing it away because of oil. Learn from my lessons, always use a brand new stick. Oh my god. This is going to be a fail then, isn't it? Tell you what, let's fill in the gaps and see if we can make it into something else, because this isn't going to work. Having all them colours separated. I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, it's not gone right, that's for sure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to rescue this or not. But if I do, and it's beautiful... yeah, I don't think so. And even my white's not even that white anymore. It's gone really gloopy. I'm just going to try and fill in those areas that I've messed up on. And it's still separating. There must have been oil on this stick, that's all I can think. But if we learn a new resin technique from it, I'll be happy with that. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Oh, I feel like it's just going to be a waste of resin. How many people are smacking themselves on the forehead who've either had the mistake happen or I can't even follow a pattern anymore because my brain's not even remembered which way it's supposed to go. But this is it, you watch other people do it, you see other people do something and you try and replicate yourself on the last minute whim because you've got too much resin left and you want to try something you've never tried before. This has definitely had oil in it by the looks of it. This stick, I don't know why it's got oil on the end, but something's not gone right because that's still separating there. It's still pulling away the colours in that area. So I remember watching people and them saying, make sure you wipe your stick every time and make sure you do this and do that. And all that goes out the window when you actually come to do it yourself. On a last minute pull, on a last minute stir with a stick that's not even clean. But at least it's happened sort of on half of it, so we can get to see what happens if it is oil. Or if it's not, what happens? Does it work? Does it not work? And just for good measure, I am going to go around in the middle and swirl it and swirl it and stop before it looks like a muddy mess. And then we will come back tomorrow and see what mess I've made. Oh, forgot to mention, I'm going to go in and burn the bubbles off, if any have come to the top. But it looks pretty good, it looks pretty bubble free. There's a couple on a few of them, but not many. Right, I'll leave them off and see you tomorrow. So we're back, and yes, this panic pour didn't go quite to plan. We've got a bit of clean up, and I've found, especially with epoxy, we're best off leaving things as they are and then pulling all this off afterwards. So I'm going to start off with this. My plan was that I might put a backing on this and make it look pretty, but we used a tool which I've put away for cleaning now. I used a tool that I remembered I used on another experiment that I have coming up, where I use different oils in resin to see different effects. Now that's going to be coming up, so make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel so that you can see the experiments of different oils used in epoxy resin and in UV resin. So that's a video coming up in the future. Now I'm going to unmold this. It might even turn out nice. Yes, it was supposed to be a bloom, and it was my first ever attempt of a bloom, and it might have gone okay if I didn't use that particular tool. So lessons learned from this: use a clean cocktail stick or a clean tool, not one that you've just grabbed off your desk. And it was all to do with me panicking at the end and just grabbing the first tool that was near me, and I'd already just used it on another project, another video that I was filming. So let's have a look at this monstrosity. But it might not be, it might be beautiful. We don't know until we flip it over and have a look. And we can also assess whether the bloom would have worked for me. Well, there you go. Don't use glitter at the front. So a complete failed piece, but I learnt some lessons from it, which is the most important thing. So that's that out of the way. Let's hope that this rose is a bit better. So these have been curing for at least a day and a half, and this was like the last of the panic pour kind of thing going on, and hopefully this has turned out nice. We'll see. You ready? That's pretty. I like that. That's turned out pretty. Very, very nice. Like that. I'll actually use that. So we just need a bit of a clean up, which is normal with this type of resin and mould. But yeah, I didn't get as much yellow in this part as I wanted to. It seems to be that the pink has actually sort of faded into the petals, which is a really, really nice effect, and I might use that in future to get that kind of shine coming through from the bottom, so it's actually darker at the bottom and goes lighter through. That's how lighting works on things anyway. So yeah, no bubbles in that, no petals missing, everything looks really nice. Yeah, pleased with that one. Right, let's see how these have done. I'm quite interested to see how that one works. I'm not sure if I should actually put a black backing on that yet. But if I do, I'll do it in UV resin once I've actually demoulded it, because if it does look nice, then it's worth backing. If it doesn't, then, you know, I'm not wasting any extra UV resin. No, not worth bothering with. So lessons learnt from this is, if you're going to be putting glitter in I mean, this glitter is beautiful, but if you're going to be putting glitter into the front part of your project, only put a very, very small amount in. So I'm not exactly sure how these ones are going to be for actually the use of them, but we're going to take these ones out, and I'm pretty much sure they're all going to be about the same. But they're all very pretty because of that sparkle that's in there, and I can use them on other crafts. So nothing special or nothing to write home to, but I could then go in with some coloured UV on the back just to give them a different colour. It's actually poured beautiful, there's no sort of bubbles or anything like that on it. Love Arts are always classic. I mean, these can be just put in a different coloured on the back just to make that into something really pretty. So that is all the glitter ones. Now then, let's see how good this epoxy resin is from Let's Resin. Let's see if the results are nice and clear. They look quite promising at the moment. I've got the is that a bubble? Yeah, the tiniest bubble there. But apart from that, that looks very clear. Very clear. Let's see if it continues throughout. That one has some funny marks on the back. So that one's not entirely clear. Spot on clear, that one. I mean, you got to remember this is without any debubbler, any bubbling machines, anything like that. You know, this is basically by mix and pour. There is no special. I've got a little bit of glitter inside that one from a little contaminant. Now there is a couple of marks on some of them towards the back. And they're very small, and I'm not sure why that's happened. But at the back there is some bubbles that looks like they're formed and then popped on their own maybe. Because I did go over the back of these with a lighter a few minutes after pouring them. Again there, I'm not sure if you can see that, there's like a little divot at the back, whereas it looks like there's a bubble that's formed and popped. Maybe you'll see it better on that side. Again, a couple of bubbles right on the back, but it is on the back surface. So if anybody knows why that happens, please put it in the comments so we can all learn. Like I said, I did go over these with a lighter once it was poured, but it looks like there's some bubbles that may have formed after they've done that and then popped on their own after they come to the surface. So I'm thinking it may be worth actually going back again a couple of minutes later just to make sure nothing has actually come through, because this has actually happened on not all of them, but on a lot of them. That one's not very good at all. That one's got several bubbles in that one. So it looks to me at the moment that the resin is doing its job. It's just these little bubbles at the back that may be an issue. And there's a little bit of contaminant every so often, there's a little bit of glitter, but I can use that within the projects that I've got coming up. Yep, quite a few bubbles in that one. But you got to remember, I don't have the debubbling machine as yet. I will be getting one, and I will be doing a review on that, so make sure you're hitting that subscribe button so you can check that out when it comes up. Hit that notification bell, and yeah, you can have a look at the machine that I'll be getting. Not decided which one, that's the only reason why I've not got it just yet. So yep, there's a bubble in that one, quite a big one as well, so it's not something that I could use easily. You sort of have to come up with new ideas. I mean, I wanted these all to be completely clear, but the ones that I've got some blemishes in them or some bubbles or whatever it is, I can work around that with what I'm using them for. Now that one just has a couple of micro bubbles, but they're very hard to see. We're in the last one here. Because these are so clear, I can't actually see if there's any left in the mould. Yep, this is the last one. Now that one has a really big blemish on the front, but it's actually raised as well, so I'm not sure why that's happened. But I can, that's something like that I can sand off and then do another top coat, but there's something right in the middle there. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like it could be a bubble, but a really weird shaped bubble. So yeah, that one's not great. So, do I like the resin? Yes, it poured, it's clear, it's not cloudy. I haven't got special machines to do these projects with. Like I said, I am planning on purchasing some. I'm planning on purchasing one, but at the moment using these as just a pour rather than a pour after you've done something. I wish I'd done some more of these kind of shapes, because I think these will magnify some of the things I've got going on. So yep, what I will do with these is look at the ones that I can't use or are going to be difficult to use, and put them to one side and use them with something in a different way. But the ones that are pretty much crystal clear with the odd tiny bubble, I can use them on the projects that I've got coming up. So if you're interested in looking at the debubbler, I was thinking, but it's up to you guys whether it's actually worth me doing. I was thinking of getting a cheap debubbling machine off Temu and comparing that to a branded debubbling machine. I don't even know if that's the word for it. That's the name for the whether it is a debubbling machine or if there's no vacuum. I know it's not a vacuum chamber or a vacuum pot that I'm going for. It is to take the bubbles out of the resin. If you've got any suggestions of particular machines that you like or you would like for me to review, please put it in the comments, and I will be looking at getting one very soon so I can go off what you guys say and also what's necessary for what work I need. Right, so that is the epoxy resin from Let's Resin. They're the results what you're going to get with just a mould and the kit. No fancy machines, just a raw pour. And pours like this. Really, really like that. It's really pretty. And I can use that in another project that I've got in mind. On the other hand, this panic pour, yeah, that didn't go very well. But I think it would have looked nice if I'd have done this with the clay and had a go at doing the bloom. So I'm going to give that another go. I did fail on the very first attempt and used things in the wrong order. It was like I said, it was a panic pour. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. I just really would have liked to have seen how it sort of worked and if them colours were pretty to use. But I'm going to try again. And that's the thing, if you have a practice, have a play, experiment, they're all the fun parts of it. You learn what you learn from it and you can take that into your next projects. So, some really good results. Overall thought, it's a fantastic kit and I can see me making many of good projects. If you'd like me to do this test on a cheaper epoxy resin, maybe one from Temu or one that you've got in mind, let me know in the comments, because I do prefer to let you guys know what is available out there and what kind of results you'll get. Let's Resin is a company that has made a name for itself in the resin community in the UK, so if there's something that you are interested in me looking at in the future, you know, a cheaper brand or an unbranded or a generic brand, let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do to accommodate. Right, thanks for watching everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the little experiments and I will see you on the next one. Bye!